these are hefty, but I almost didn't know where to go. So the boxing manager that you know from Louisville, Kentucky, Nick Barres. Yes, he went in really deep with the concept that we came up with when we were talking about Paulie, and we were talking about 5 people or fighters who have gotten the most out of less.
I love the fact that he's watching, by the way. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely appreciate it. So he literally went in and wrote what could have been an article, essentially about the 5 biggest overachievers in modern boxing in the last 15 years. So I'm not going to read it, word for word what he put here. But number 1, he had Julio Cesar Chavez. He said overachiever.
Okay.
He said he earned in excess of $10 million. He said he had average skills, cool style, and great marketing made him a lot of money. Wait a minute.
What about the great fighting?
You know what? Is he talking about senior or junior? I don't know. He
must be junior.
You must be junior. He says
it has to be
junior. He says the son of boxing royalty was able to parlay. Yes, he's talking about.
He meant junior. Okay.
Yeah, he just didn't put junior. Okay, so I'm good with that. I can actually agree with that. To be honest, I can agree with that. I mean, we're talking about a former world champion. He was a world champion.
I know.
And he almost knocked out Sergio Martinez, even though he got outboxed for the entire fight.
Yeah.
So you reluctantly give that, credit, but it's hard for me to argue with that.
Listen, let me tell you something that before you get to number 2, it's called prize fighting. Okay.
Yeah. You fight.
So, he made money. He won world titles. Maybe didn't have any business doing either. But he did. But he did it. I'm not hating on him. He did it.
You don't have no business with that belt, right? You know that. But
what I'm saying is, listen, also one thing we got to remember, okay? And let's be real.
Right.
Did Michael Jordan Jr. win?
Say that again.
How many championships did Michael Jordan's son win? How many?
You talk about Marcus and Jeff?
Any of them.
No,
how many championships have they won?
None.
Yeah, Pele's son, Adinho, how many championships did he win?
I couldn't tell you, but I'm assuming from context clues, none.
The point I'm making is that we can go down the list.
Yes.
It's so hard to live in that shadow because you're constantly being compared to your father.
Yeah. Some people
because the expectation.
Yeah, some people handle it better than
so
others.
Big.
Yeah, some people handle it better than others. Obviously, like Ken Griffey Jr., Barry Bonds, all of those guys have handled it better. But it's rare. It's rare.
I know, but sometimes the kid's better than the father.
Yeah, and in those instances they are. But Bobby Bonds is a borderline Hall of Fame. Bobby Bonds was a heck of a baseball player. So
I'm saying, I'm just saying, this is a big shadow.
It's huge. It's hard.
A big shadow.
Super hard. Very rarely do you see a great father produce a great son in the same sport, where he matches that level of greatness. I can't think of anybody. Outside, like if you're talking about somebody who was a Hall of Fame father and their son also was a Hall of Fame level performer, I'd have to think for a minute, but I don't know that I know one right off the top of my head. So it is what it is. But yes, his number 2 is Chris Algieri. He says, right place at the right time allowed this kickboxing sensation to utilize his great conditioning against a much overhyped puncher in Provodnikov. I think is what he's talking about, Ruslan Provodnikov. Well, you know what? I can kind of agree with that. It was a right place, right time situation because he had the kind of style that was just perfect. And the perfect style, the perfect approach, and the perfect mindset overall to beat Provodnikov. He was not going to fall into the same trap that Tim Bradley fell into. Tim Bradley has always been this guy who has this excellent boxing skill, above average speed, but could not accept the fact that he wasn't a power puncher. And he wanted to prove to people he had a knockout shot and that he was this brawler when he could have just simply outboxed 98 to 99% of the people that he fought. And he ended up taking all kinds of shots, career life-altering shots against Provodnikov when he really didn't have to. And Chris Algieri was like, not going to be me. I can outbox this guy and make him like a fool for 12 rounds. You guys can call me whatever you want, but I'll take that W. And that's exactly what happened. And
well, you can call him a former world champion.
You can, and he earned himself a payday against Manny Pacquiao
and Errol Spence
because of it. You know, so say what you want. You know, it is what it is. So I don't know if I can totally agree with the overachiever part for Algieri.
I mean, look, Chris is my friend, okay? Yeah. And I'll say it. Chris overachieved. Mm-hmm. I mean, Chris overachieved. Mm-hmm. Chris's greatest asset might be IQ and his will to win.
Yeah.
But I think I think that boxing IQ is what won him the title. Mm-hmm. And his grit, I mean, his will to win. But he might have overachieved in his career because really he also has a very good manager, Keith Connolly, another friend of mine who he's been able to make sure that Chris has also gotten paid well. But Chris is a smart guy.
I look at Chris moves well.
Yeah.
And that's something that Chris is not like a square, stiff athlete. He moves
right,
well.
But look at his losses. I mean, these are like, look at the names.
Yeah. So I it's not crazy, but he also has Berman Stavern. I guess
I didn't even know he achieved.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. He got 2 world championship fights, I guess. Is that what we're talking about?
Well, I mean, he got opportunities, but I don't think he really overachieved. I don't think Stavern's a good. I like the first 2.
Yeah, I don't dig that one. He also has Josecito Lopez. I dig it. I can dig it. I can definitely dig it. You want to talk about somebody getting it because of their grit and the Riverside Rocky dude brings it. Like, I'm telling you.
I almost beat Thurman.
I almost beat Thurman. Beat Victor Ortiz when he wasn't supposed to. Before he helped let us know where Victor Ortiz's ceiling was.
Right.
We kind of knew after Marcos Maidana fight. We knew it was like, okay, yeah, it's a little shake. But then after that, Josecito Lopez said, "No, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna bust the wall down, and we're gonna all see." And and like you said, I almost beat Thurman. And when I've seen him overmatched, it's still, the dude is still there. He's still there. Mad respect for Josecito Lopez. And I think he just put in an extra letter or something here, but he actually says Pauline Malignaggi. And I
don't think he was taking a dig. I think it was
because he did it twice. He wrote it that way twice. So I don't know, but we
maybe he doesn't like him.
We do agree that Paulie Malignaggi is on that list for sure.
I don't agree.
I think Nick and I agree. Man, come on.
You and Nick agree, and listen.
Be kidding me? You don't think that Paulie overachieved?
No, I think that I just don't. And listen, I'm not saying it because he's my friend, Brian. And I know you're thinking to yourself, "Oh, you don't want to talk bad about."
No, I'm not thinking that at all.
I'm telling you, I just think people. But you see, people don't know he was a good amateur. He transitioned into the pros. Fighter, like, I don't know where the overachieving was.
The overachieving off of athleticism. He's not a freak athlete in any way, shape, or form.
But why do you have to be a freak athlete to be a successful fighter?
You don't have to be a
freak athlete. Where's that criteria that you have to be an athlete to be a successful fighter?
Sport, but
you don't have to be a freak athlete.
The prerequisite of achieving in a sport at a high level generally is that you have above average athleticism to start.
And in my opinion, in this game, based on my own personal experience, it's 80+% mental. Okay, they haven't invented any new punches. There is a level of athleticism. Absolutely.
What is the single most important trait any fighter can have?
My opinion, ring IQ.
So ring IQ.
That's my opinion.
Ring IQ supersedes speed to you.
I mean, look, you asked me about my opinion,
and I'm asking for clarity.
I mean, look, some people might say power, some might say speed. Paulie had speed.
Paulie had speed, but Paulie didn't have blinding speed.
But he had speed. Are we going to talk about levels of speed? He had speed.
Yeah, he had speed.
He had great defense.
He had great defense, but I think his great defense is based off of ring IQ.
Right. That's right. That's what I'm saying.
Right. But what I'm saying is when you talk about somebody overachieving, generally what you're looking at, usually the way that definition breaks out is you look at what the person brings to the table that is a God-given ability, right? How fast are you? How strong are you? How good are your instincts? How good are your reflexes, your quick twitch reflexes? Those are the things. Everything else beyond that is things that you add with your hard work and your dedication and all of those sort of things.
I think we're undervaluing. So, like for me, I think that defense gets undervalued sometimes.
It's not undervalued. It's a part of.
Why did he overachieve? Why did he overachieve?
It's a part of what I'm saying.
Because he didn't have freak athleticism. He didn't overachieve.
You don't have. You're not.
I know great athletes that couldn't fight.
You're not so. I understand that you're not so fast that you are the fastest guy in the ring every time you fight, and your power is such that it is such a low level that it is literally you're literally one of the least effective power punching guys in the history of anybody who has fought on his level. And I'm saying this the way that you're forcing me to make my point sounds like it's an insult to Paulie, but it's the exact opposite.
I'm not saying it's an
We're
insult.
talking about a multiple time world champion.
Yeah, it's not an insult.
Who is able to get there with having the ability to only get 7 KO finishes in this long career. That is amazing to me. That is why I have, like, people talk about, I talk to people and they talk bad about Paulie. I'm like, you're out of your mind.
But Brian, why can't we accept the fact that he was a masterful boxer? 7 KOs is only, I'm not missing the point. I don't think he overachieved. I just think he achieved. I don't think he overachieved. To overachieve, you had to have some sort of obstacle that held you back from achieving. And you superseded that.
I think athleticism is what would initially hold you back.
Where we're disagreeing is that we are disagreeing on his level of athleticism then.
I think that's what it is. Because I think if Paulie Malignaggi walks in the gym and you don't know who he is, just a kid that walks in the gym, and you ask someone, you see him move around for a little bit, you ask someone, you say, what do you think that guy's ceiling is? Nobody in that gym is going to guess that he would achieve what he ultimately achieved.
That's
nobody.
I
don't think anybody says that. I don't think anybody says this guy.
It's your opinion.
All of these freaking championships in multiple weight classes, nothing about him says that when you look at him initially. Nothing. I don't see it. And neither does Nick.
No, well, we'll agree to disagree here.
And neither does Nick. So I don't know. That's just what I say. I don't know. But let's see. So I thought that was super interesting.
You know what we should do? I'm going to bring Paulie on.
Yeah.
So we can see if maybe he agrees with you.
You know what? I think
wouldn't that be terrible if he agreed with you?
I actually think he does, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I've heard him talk about this subject before, and he's almost said something like this before. Okay. Because this man, I know this guy has to have like coming up with certain guys, some of the guys he came up with, around the same time. I know he had to be in the ring with some of those guys like, well, this guy's faster than me.
So what did you think of the Broner fight? Let's just go slow here. What did you think of the Broner fight?
This is actually a perfect example.
We're going to go slow here. What did you think of the Broner fight?
I thought that Broner was superior than him in almost everything that you would consider when you're evaluating fighters, except for fight IQ.
So you're saying that, some people made an argument that they thought Paulie won that fight.
I thought Paulie won that fight.
Okay. So you're saying that it was his Jedi Yoda-esque ring IQ and not athleticism that allowed him to compete in that fight against a really athletic fighter.
No, I'm not saying that he's out here like he's just a guy who's running a 10-second 40. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is when you're relative to other athletes in the sport who have achieved on his level, When you look at him and you look at other guys who have achieved on his level, multiple championships in multiple weight classes, and you compare them from a raw athleticism standpoint, he wouldn't appear to match up to those guys, but yet he does.
Maybe his athleticism is deceptive.
Maybe it is. It's very deceptive. But what's not deceptive is 7 freaking knockouts. 7 knockouts.
Listen, I'm going to tell you, it's not as I know. You're zeroing in on just one aspect of the sport.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about
it's called the sweet science, not the knockout science.
I understand.
I'm just saying it's called boxing, not knockout.
Clearly,
I know you know.
I know that.
I know you know.
So
I'm giving you a little bit of a hard time.
Yes. So what I'm saying to you is that if you also look at the other aspects of it that relate directly to athleticism,
someone's going to call you racist on this one, right?
Well, they can, but you know what people say. You know what? I told you this yesterday. White analysts are not allowed to criticize black fighters in some people's minds.
Right.
And black analysts are not allowed to criticize people who are white or Mexican, because if you are and I'm not saying all fight fans are this way, but there are a lot of fight fans. If me as a black analyst say anything that is critical about a non-black fighter, I'm racist. If you, as a white analyst or a white person that works in the game, if you say something bad about a black fighter, you automatically become racist. That's just what it is. If I take up for a black fighter, I'm only doing it because he's black and I'm black.
You know what the really sad thing about this whole thing is, Brian?
What's that?
That I want the audience know.
You said
we do this for. I want to let the audience know.
Yes.
We do this for about an hour, 3 days a week.
Yeah, and I'm so sick of it.
But these are our normal conversations for about 6 hours a day,
and
7 days a week.
He doesn't see me on the phone because I'm doing this.
But just so they know, this is a basic everyday conversation for us.
Yeah.
Anyway,
he also doesn't know that there are times when he just puts me on mute and goes ahead and does whatever he's going to do. Rather than actually listen.
I don't cut you off on here nearly as much as I do in real life.
The only time you don't cut me off is
on here.
Muted me.
Right. By accident.
Oh my God, heaven help us today.